I don't know who need to hear this, and excuse me for crying, but sometimes you have to let God fix it. Sometimes you have to trust and surrender and just take your hands off of it, you know? Oftentimes we're so focused and caught up on trying to make things work, trying to make a plan, for our life happen when that's not God's plan. That's not what He sees fit for us or has in store for us. Oftentimes we want to force things to happen when it's just like the moment you just let go, it all works out. And this is something God has really been teaching me this year, to just let go. When you don't see the path, walk by faith and not by sight. Allow God to guide you. Allow Him to have the plan unfold in His way, the way He wants it to, at the timing He needs it to. And I've just, I've been thinking about how this year started. God had me do a leap of faith move from Florida to Atlanta. $200 in my pocket, nowhere to stay. Drove up there with a rental that I had to return the next day. No car, no nothing. And I look at how my life has progressed and prospered over these 10 months. How I went from nothing, living on someone's couch, sleeping on someone's floor, being depressed, being forced to be in a season of rest, not having a job, not having income to... Life can really change overnight, And I've really been seeing when I let go and He puts His hands on it, I'm wild every time. Tears of joy fall every single time. Sometimes you have to let things go that aren't a part of God's will. Every season is different. That includes people. That includes places. That includes things. That includes habits. And what I've noticed in this season of a lot of people's life, they're being tested on their faith. Especially when it comes down to their finances, right? A lot of God's chosen ones in this moment, they've been homeless. They've been living in hotels. They've been forced to fight the battle, what it seems like, by themselves. And it seems like every time they turn around, there's an issue, there's a problem, there's a delay, there's some kind of blockage. But God is making it happen for His people this season. They've suffered long enough. You're getting that apartment you want. You're getting that house you want. You're getting that car you want. Everything works out when it needs to. And let me give you guys an example of this. So, God told me to stop working. Okay, I've been trying to find a car. I have another video that I made. I'm actually probably going to put it up. And before I was lifting this year, I was making a lot of money off Lyft. My car got taken. I was like, God, I need a car. I've been without a car for, almost 4 months now? I said, God, I need a car. I tried to get a car through Uber. Nope. Everywhere I went, couldn't get a car. Tried to go to the dealership. Oh, you have the down payment. You have the credit. Blah, blah, blah. You don't have the right bank account. This problem, this. living in hotels, right? Every time you turn around and try to get a house, every time you turn around and try to get something, it don't work. One, because it's not God's timing. God told me to stop working. So I was like, God, I don't know how I'm going to pay rent this week. I don't know how I'm going to pay rent. God told me one day I woke up. He said 11 o'clock. I don't know what he meant by that. 11 o'clock. Whoop-de-doo. Okay. When I tell you I got the final amount that I needed for rent at exactly 11 o'clock. Well, it was a little past 11 o'clock. A couple minutes past. But 11 o'clock. I said I gave up, God. I don't know what to do. Right? And that's another thing. When you settle for something, this is just a tangent I want to go on. When you settle for something that is either not in God's will for you, or something that you don't want, you're just using it to get by or just to have, it will never work out. Right? That person you're trying to force in your life to have a relationship that's not your ordained person, your divine counterpart, your kingdom spouse, it's not going to work. You settle for that apartment that doesn't check off every box on your list, not going to work out. You settle for that car that you know darn well you don't want, it's not going to work out. And I feel like, honestly, that's why things really haven't been working out in my life in a way, in a sense, because I've been trying to settle. I told God I want a specific car. If I would have went through Uber to get this car, it definitely would have been that car. I told God I want a specific place. Started looking for apartments knowing I want a house. Didn't work out. Every time I try to go for something that's less than what God knows I deserve, don't work out. And I need God's people to understand that and know that. Sometimes you got to take your hands off of it. And this is coming from a worrier, honey. I worry about everything. This is not a game. I'm not going to sit up here and sugarcoat with you. Like oftentimes I'm very nonchalant. I'm a shrugger, but there's a lot of things that I just be in tears about, honey, baby, because look, I be like, I don't know how this is going to work. And he's like, dude, really? It worked out last time, the time before that. It's been working out all your life. Why do you think it's not going to work? Right? And for a lot of y'all, it's time to share y'all story. You know? I'm still kind of like, God, I need this blessing for my car. I need this blessing for my house. You know, I've been staying in hotels for 7 months. I'm tired of it. I don't want to do this. It was to a point where I was like, you know what? God, I'm going to go back to my mom's house, stack my money up so I can buy me a house. You know what God said? You bet not. You already know that's not an environment you're going to thrive in. You bet not. So I'm just like, you know what, God? I don't know what you're doing. But I got to wait on you. I got to wait for it to work out. Because me trying to make it work, me trying to make things fit into my life, me trying to make people fit in my life, it's not working. And God knows I'm not someone that I'd rather figure it out myself than ask for help. And God's like, no. I've been in a season, and I feel like that's another thing this year. He's really been showing me to accept help and be open to help and ask for help when I need it. So it's just like, you know, God's going to send an angel, but Are you going to be open to receiving? And that's another word. Are you open to receiving God's blessings that he has for you? And that's it.